The phrase no pain, no gain, really, I wish that it would just, not because exercise is supposed to be painless, but because some people just take that phrase and make it mean something completely else. Hi, my name is Coach Bonds, and on the Breakdown with Bonds, we're going to talk about the difference between feeling the burn and actually building muscle. So in today's episode, we're going to break down what it means what you're actually feeling when you feel the burn, the difference between working out, training, exercising, and like actually building muscle. Are those all three the same? Are they different? Whatever. And then how to actually train so that you get the results that you want. So let's break it down. First things first, have you ever heard anyone tell you when you're sore, oh, you got to rub and massage it to get that lactic acid out? Well, they're full of shit because that's not a thing. The lactic acid is literally gone within minutes. Let's see let me look it up and see how long does lactic acid burn? Great question. The burn you feel is lactic acid. It clears from your bloodstream in about 30 to 60 minutes after you exercise. So what you're actually feeling when you're sore those few days afterwards is DOMS. That's delayed onset muscle soreness. It doesn't matter what the soreness is afterwards. The point is, while you're working out, when you feel the burns, that is lactic acid. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing things really well or that you aren't doing it well. What's actually happening is a lactic acid buildup, which is a combination of lactate and hydrogen ions. It's a sign that your muscles are starting to fatigue after working for so long, right? That's usually with endurance training, which is why the TikTok that I made, or was it a TikTok? I think it was something on my story, but I was talking about how 2 Saturdays ago, I went to go audition for a group fitness coach position because even though group fitness isn't really my thing, I'm all about community, especially getting us up and active because we know how obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, those things run rampant in our communities. So I really wanted to be a part of that. When I got there, they're great coaches. And I remember the dude that killed me, he looked at my legs or afterwards, he told me he looked at my legs and knew he had to bring it. So mind you, that pride, right? Like he's not giving us breaks. He's not stopping, just going straight through. And in my head, I'm thinking like, well, when is this going to end? Not trying to judge him, but in my head, I'm like, we should have had a break by now. No, I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't do HIIT. I don't do dance fitness. I do sets and reps and rest times and shit. So maybe this is normal. But so I just kept a straight face and trying to, keep it. But in the same way, I tell my clients, don't do that shit. Like if you are working out with me and it's your first day and I'm doing your assessment and you decide that you want to show me you can do a 60-second plank on your first day in the gym, then all your workouts are going to start at a minimum of 45 seconds, when in reality, you should be doing like 20 seconds and you were just showing out. So in this situation, I should have told him like, it's good, or I should have made faces like it hurt, but my pride didn't want to let him know that. So my pride let him run my legs and my upper body and everything into the ground, because some people have this idea that the more burn you feel, the better. The more burn, the better is only better if your goal is endurance. And mine isn't. My goal is strength and my goal is to look sexy. And sure, I want some stamina, but like my goal is not to see how many lunges I can do before I fall out. Like nowhere in life is that going to get me any further than when I am right now, unless there's a fucking lunge competition. So like that wasn't necessary. Great on them and for the people that do that, but I just thought I would give you some context. So at the end of the day, feeling the burning and feeling the burn is not necessary for muscle growth. It's not. That's actually more tied to metabolic stress. And we'll talk about that in another video. So what actually builds muscle? Progressive overload, progressive overload, progressive overload, progressive overload. I am NASM certified and I'm working on my bodybuilding coach certification. I say working, like I have till 2028 to take it. So I'm kind of like procrastinating. What they did not really focus on was progressive overload. They focused on a well-rounded program structure. I didn't learn about progressive overload until 2020 hit. And I wasn't in the gym every week getting those free science education classes that most big box corporate gyms give to their trainers. So I had to go online and start finding people who are knowledgeable and learning from them. And I started to notice that all the big people who look great talk about this thing called progressive overload, and it started to click. I remember when I was still a baby trainer at UFIT and I was doing HIIT every single day. And one of the girls, she wasn't even a trainer. She's a volleyball player for UCF and she's front desk. And she's like, do you do HIIT every day? And I was like, yeah, why? And she's like, huh. And I love her because instead of putting me down or schooling me, she respected me enough. I wish she didn't. As a coach, to not judge me or not think twice. She just kind of said, huh. If you're ever in that position where you see someone doing something wrong when it comes to fitness, I would recommend doing it the way that she did and letting that person learn on their own, or asking why. I think a good thing to when you're talking to people so that you don't come off as the know-it-all because you're into fitness now, or like my client, the know-it-all because you have a trainer now. The best way to not seem like a know-it-all is just ask people questions. So like if you see your friends doing your form wrong, be like, how does that feel? That's what I ask my clients. Like, how does that feel? You see them doing a whole lot, be like, hey, what goal are you working on? Do you have a race coming up? And if they say no, why? Then you can be like, oh, because I noticed you did like 30 reps and like that's that's like race training. And then if they let you know they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, then beautiful. Then you can tell them how great it is to follow someone online who does, or maybe hire their own personal trainers that can help them. Whatever. And no, I'm not going to shy away from the fact that, yes, this podcast does help me get clients. I got to pay, I got to eat. Y'all got to stop shaming people for trying to sell you stuff unless they do it in a shitty way. Okay, next. So progressive overload, which simply means that if you were doing 10 reps in the beginning of your program, then by the end of your program, you need to either be doing more reps or heavier weight or more sets, right? So that means increasing the weight, increasing the reps or intensity of the workout in any of those different variables over time. The way that you can do that could look different. You could start off with 2 sets and then finish your program at 5 or 6 sets. You could start off with 10 reps and then finish with 12 reps. You could start with 50 pounds and then finish that program lifting 100 pounds. There's so many different ways that a good trainer or someone that understands how to program can manipulate your program to help make sure that you don't plateau and that you're actually building muscle. Mechanical tension. That's another way to build muscle. We talk about lifting heavy enough to actually challenge your muscles. So again, people can be working out all of the time, but if there's no progressive overload in their workouts, they're not building muscle. They're just feeling a burn week after week without actually building anything. And that's the fucking worst. Muscle damage and repair. That means that you have to take your muscles to the point where they actually stretch enough and tear, create little micro tears so that you can eat the protein and the protein can go in and fill in those tears, and boom, now we have a rebuilt muscle. That has to happen in order for you to build muscle. And a lot of y'all, you're not creating any micro tears because you're not lifting heavy enough. You never increase the weight, no progressive overload, or because you're not getting enough mechanical tension. Like let's say you want to get it. This is always here. I promise I'm not on drugs, and I promise this is not a pump. This is just, that's the way my right vein looks. I don't know. Anywho, probably from serving for so long and holding trays like this for hours. Anywho, the point is this. Let's say you do your bicep curls, but you only do partial rep. The whole rep of a bicep curl is when my biceps like this. That is a full range of motion bicep curl. But let's say you only do these, right? You're not taking that muscle to its full, or let's say you don't go down all the way. Whatever the case may be, a lot of us aren't training full range of motion, and we're definitely not loading up the weight as heavy as it can go and doing full range of motion. So we're not really getting that muscle damage and repair that it takes to rebuild and build muscle. Volume actually matters. I know some people, when they see a 4th set in their workout, they're like, Coach, did you mix up? Was that a typo? And I'm like, no, you're allowed to do 4 sets. If you only work out 1 day a week, that's not really enough volume to build muscle. Or if you do, it's going to be very hard to see it over time in a way that you're actually happy with. Volume matters. If you want to grow your glutes, training them 1 day a week is counterproductive. If you want to grow your biceps, training them once a week is counterproductive. You got to get those reps in. Total sets and total reps across the whole week play a bigger role than you feeling the burn 5 days a week. You know what I'm saying? All right, and then last thing I really want to touch on is that you can build muscle without feeling that burn. In fact, I don't usually feel that burn that much because burning usually comes when you're in high reps, but you can build muscles without feeling that burn all the time. The burn is just kind of like something for you. It's something that trainers, well-skilled trainers do to trick people into thinking that we really kicked your ass right away, or a not well-skilled trainer that doesn't know any other way to make you feel like you had a good workout besides giving you the burn. On the other hand, the burn can actually be helpful, and here's when. If you are training for endurance or conditioning, like if you're going to go do a savage race, if you're going to go do any kind of marathon race or something like that, then yes, train for endurance, and you want to get your body used to that burns. That means staying on that Stairmaster, the treadmill, elliptical, or doing conditioning work. It can also help with mind to muscle connection, knowing that you can feel that actual muscle working. At the end of your workout, if you really just want to feel that burn at the end of it, you can finish it with a drop set, with finishers or high rep pumps so that you can get that pump. That's another To feel that burn is where you get the pump. So that's another reason, like if you need to make your butt bigger for an Instagram picture. But if you chase the burn every single workout, you're going to overtrain. Your recovery is going to be absolute shit, which means you're going to feel like shit afterwards. Your body isn't going to recover properly. And if you just keep doing it, like your body doesn't repair, so you're literally beating your body up for no reason. And then, of course, injury. Because, for example, after the dude killed me, the next instructor was a dance instructor, and he was trying to teach us a routine, and my legs simply just could not function and they were wobbly. And so I realized I had to just kind of mark my moves instead of going all out. And had I decided that I need to go all out, I could have like really re-injured my ankle that gets hurt all the time. When the dude was telling me to do a certain move a certain way, I was like, yeah, no, my shoulder hurts. Do it where it's okay, you know? So feeling that burn every time is not as beneficial as you think it is. So here, to bring it all in, if your goal is actually building muscle because you want to increase your metabolism, you want to reduce body fat, you want to look good, or you want to be strong, focus on progressive overload, not chasing the burn. Focus on proper recovery. That means rest, water, sleep, nutrition, not just the burn. If you really want to build muscle, focus on those things: progressive overload, proper nutrition, and recovery. You cannot escape these things. If you're just starting out and you don't feel the burn, again, that's not a bad thing. That just means you're not going up to the high enough reps to where your muscles are actually fatigued. The real question to ask yourself after your workouts, after the day, after the week, after the month is, do I feel more energized? Do I feel stronger than last month? Do I feel stronger than when I started? Do my sets feel more controlled, or do I feel like I'm flinging the weight around, or that my core can't stay stable while I move this heavy weight? Is my recovery getting better? The soreness only lasting a day or two as opposed to 3 or 4 days? These are better indicators of whether you're actually building muscle. And then, of course, taking pictures and measurements, or using one of the scales that lets you know your body fat versus muscle percentage. So just to recap, burn does not equal, I don't know if this is going to be backwards, so just in case it is, burn does not equal muscle. Burn means fatigue, not growth. Don't chase the burn, chase progress. And with that, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Comment if you have any other questions about things that you want to hear about or anything you want to add to this one. Make sure you like the video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And if you're looking for some science-based workouts, you want to give mine a try and see what it's all about, go ahead and click a link to a free week in my client community and also a free consultation so I can give you the quick and dirty on what you need to actually start seeing results. Until next time, peace, love, protein. Coach Bonds loves you, and we out.